Superhero Day 6. Sharon was great last night. She picked me up and didn't say a word. That's what I remember most. Not the driving, not the cold air when I slid into the passenger seat, not even the way my ribs felt like they were vibrating every time I breathed. Just the silence. Not awkward, not mad, not scared in a loud way. Just quiet. Like she understood that if she asked me anything right then, I'd fall apart or shut down. And she didn't want either. We went to my car. I followed her home. I don't even remember half the streets. I remember her turn signal clicking. I remember the heat in the car. I remember the way she kept both hands on the wheel like she was trying to keep the whole world steady. When we got back, she asked if I wanted tea. I said no. Not because I didn't want it, because my body felt like it had already made its decision. I was beyond tired, past tired, the kind of tired where your brain stops cooperating and you feel like you're moving underwater. I just needed to lie down. So I did. And that's all I remember. When I got up this morning, she was still asleep. Sound asleep. That matters. Because sleep means safety. It means her nervous system is finally letting go for a few hours. It means she's not listening for footsteps. Not bracing for the next crash, the next voice raising, the next door slamming. I stand in the hallway for a second, looking at her door, and I don't go in. I let her have it. I go to the kitchen instead and start making breakfast. My body feels like it's been folded wrong. My ribs are sore. My shoulders feel stiff. My head has that dull throb like something hit me, and my skull is still annoyed about it. But I can move. So I move. I crack eggs. I toast bread. I keep it simple because I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm trying to make the apartment feel normal. Coffee is the other thing. I've never been a coffee drinker. Never understood it. Hot water does the job for me. But I know Sharon likes it in the morning. So I get the machine going, and when the first wave of smell hits, it takes over the whole apartment. It's weird how powerful it is. Like the aroma fills the space before anything else does. Like it's announcing, morning is here, whether you're ready or not. I'm plating breakfast when I hear her feet. Soft steps, slower than usual. She appears in the doorway. Hair a mess, face still sleepy, eyes finding me like she's checking that I'm actually here. I hold the plate out. She takes it, then looks up at me and says, "Can we talk now?" Not angry, not dramatic, just direct. "Of course," I say. "I'm sorry I didn't talk last night. I was just exhausted." She sits at the table, sets the plate down. Doesn't eat yet. Her first question is simple and sharp. "Do you need a hospital?" I just stare at her for a second, because I hadn't even thought about it. The bruises are definitely bad. I can feel them all over, like my whole body is one big sore spot, but nothing is showing where it would freak someone out. No blood, no obvious damage. I can walk. So my brain did what it always does. You're fine. Keep going. I grew up in a generation where you didn't call out sick. Cold? Go in. Cough? Go in. Flu? You go in unless you physically can't stand. The only time you didn't go into work is if you were stuck in the bathroom and you couldn't get off the floor. That was the standard. That's still in me. Even now. So taking a day off for bruises wasn't even a thought. "I think I'm okay," I say. And I can hear myself trying to sound casual. I don't really think they're that bad. I don't say the other part. The part that's true. That this is the first time I've actually said any of this out loud to someone who isn't part of the night. I've always been strong and quiet. Kept a lot inside. That's how I was raised. You push through. You accomplish things. You don't slow people down with your problems. But Sharon doesn't let me hide behind that. "Can I at least check?" she asks. "Just make sure you're okay." "Yeah," I say, "of course." She comes over and lifts my shirt. Her hands are careful, not clinical, not dramatic, just careful. She sees the bruises, black and blue, spreading wider than I realized. I watch her face change slightly as she takes it in. She doesn't gasp. She doesn't make it about herself. She just gets quiet. She presses gently near my abdomen, and pain shoots through me so fast I make a sound before I can stop it. A wince that turns into a sharp inhale. She freezes immediately, cools her hand back. "Your rib," she says quietly. I nod once, teeth clenched. "It's not right," she says. "I know," I admit. I stand up anyway, because standing feels better than sitting right now. Sitting makes the soreness settle in. Standing keeps me moving. Moving keeps me from thinking. I walk to the counter and pour myself hot water like I'm proving something. Like my body isn't allowed to win. Sharon watches me the whole time. Can you at least take a half day? She asks. Or make it easier? I hesitate, because I want to say no automatically, but she's not asking for control. She's not telling me what to do. She's asking me to be human. Yeah, I say finally. I can. I swallow. I've got a couple meetings this morning, a few calls. I can do some stuff from the car. I can head back early. She nods, like she's already been thinking ahead. Oh, she says. I was thinking about 2:30. We meet at that little cafe on the corner. The one with the amazing hot chocolate. They do sandwiches too. She says it like it's casual. But I can hear what it is underneath. A checkpoint. A reason to make sure I'm not pushing myself into the ground. Sure, I say. That would be great. I can meet you there. She looks at me like she's deciding whether to push one more inch. Then she smiles and says, if you arrive early, you know I want tea. I almost laugh. Vanilla decaf chai, she adds, and it would be good if it's boiling hot. Then she kisses me on the cheek and walks away like she didn't just do something that shook me. The kiss isn't the point. The point is the normalness. The point is she's acting like we have a rhythm. And part of me likes it more than I want to admit. I also get the hint. She wants me there early. And she figured out an easy way to do it. Give me one simple thing to do. Because she's already learning something about me. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Not because I'm perfect, but because I have more people with righteousness, roles and rules. The problem is, I've been living a life made of loose ends. And pretending I'm fine. Chapter, work, time, and the storm coming. I drive in. On the phone with Christine, we juggle the schedule. She's already talking before I'm fully awake, and I appreciate it. It keeps me from thinking too much. The afternoon appointments aren't urgent. She makes calls and adjusts things without drama. That's what she's good at, making the day lighter without needing credit. I'm listening, but my brain drifts for a second, because my ribs hurt when I breathe too deep. And it's weird. I've taken hits before, I've been sore before, but today it's different, because Sharon saw it. Today I'm not alone with it. Christine keeps talking and I find myself thinking about time. How I've spent so much of my life running. 14-hour days, 16-hour days, for years. That's how I got where I am. That's true, but it's taken a toll. No family, no kids. Successful business. Good friends. A life that looks impressive on paper. And still, something missing. I don't know what it is, I just know it's there. Christine is one of the rare people in my world who doesn't pretend she can't see things. I've tried to give her more money than most people would ever turn down. She turned it down. I still remember my shock. Like, who does that? She wanted it to go to charity instead. So we set one up. A real one. A simple system where she can give away more of her income to people who need it. And she was delighted. Like it was the best gift she could have gotten. That's the kind of person she is. There's a storm coming too. They're saying it's going to be a bad one. 7 to 12 inches, a foot of snow in the city and everything shuts down. It's chaos. Not because snow is evil, but because there's nowhere to put it. They pile it on sidewalks. They shove it to corners. They try to haul it away. Sometimes they talk about barges, like that solves anything. The snow makes everything look beautiful, and then it traps people in it. It was 16 degrees last night. The high today is supposed to be around 20. I bundle up fine, but you can see it on people's faces out there. Cold makes people look smaller, makes them move faster, makes them more invisible. And when snow hits, you find more people in need. So I make a mental note to remind Larry, keep the lobby warm, keep the heat on, put a guard on overnight. Make it easy for people to come inside for warmth. I don't want anyone stuck out there during a storm if we can help it. Sometimes, I think my investors would have hated all of this. The whole idea of letting people into the lobby, feeding them, having soup out like it's a community center. But over time, it's been the opposite. It's made a difference. People saw the difference. Business even grew. Not because it was a plan, just because people respond to care. They remember where they felt human. I remember walking in one day and seeing one of our multimillionaires, Sam, standing with Larry serving soup like he'd been doing it his whole life. I just stood there for a minute watching. He saw me and waved. I waved back. He came over and said, "Can we reschedule for 30 minutes later? There's a few more people I need to help." I remember laughing. Of course. I asked if he needed a hand. He shook his head. We got it. I just wanted to make a special soup for him. I was showing Larry a recipe my grandmother used to make. Then he put his hand on my shoulder and said, "If I haven't told you, this was the best idea you ever did. I love that you give back this way. Thanks for letting me be part of it." That was 10 years ago, and that gratitude still stays with me, because it wasn't about me being praised. It was about someone feeling included in something good. Sam's one of my best friends now. Sometimes he helps downstairs and Larry doesn't even tell me. I don't ask. I just find out later when Sam tells me stories about the people he met. And I can tell it fills him up in a way money never did. Chapter, leaving the office early. Upstairs, the calls start. Routine stuff, deals, updates, little fires that aren't real fires. I battle through it. My body keeps reminding me to breathe carefully. I want to talk to Barry more about the Parkland project, but there's no update yet. It's still a couple days away before there's anything real to look at. And then it hits me. It's 1100. I don't have to meet Sharon until 2:30. There's a storm coming, and I'm sitting here in a building where the problems are mostly words. Christine's office is next to mine, doors practically back to back. I barely have to move to talk to her. I walk over and knock lightly. "Are you on the phone?" I ask. "No," she says. "What's up?" "Let's go to Chair the Early," I say. "I want to do some work." She looks at me for half a second like she's measuring me. Like she's noticing the stiffness, the way I'm standing. Then she nods. "You have a call with Richard," she says. "He needs to talk to you about financial stuff." "I'll take it in a car," I say. "He only gets as long as it takes us to get there." Christine smiles slightly. "Sounds good." I grab my back, the usual backpack, laptop, phone. I don't overpack. I'm not going away. I'm just shifting spaces. And the weird part is, it feels like relief. Chapter 3. The car and the call. We take Christine's car so she can leave from the charity later, and I can always have one of the guys pick me up and drive me to meet Sharon. When we get in, she says, "Do you mind if I listen?" I laugh. "You listen to every call." She grins. "The walls between our offices aren't soundproof," I remind her. "How do you think we talk like there isn't a wall there?" She laughs and says, "Wonder why you knew about my recent doctor's appointment." "Come on," I say. We hear each other's calls. Let's just move on. She rolls her eyes like, "Fair." Richard calls right on time. No small talk. No weather. He's always like that. "Hey," I say. I'm in the car. "I'm driving to do some work in the community. Let's keep this tight." Richard laughs. "Yeah, I know what that means, but this may be longer than you think." "Come on," I say. "You're going to tell me something about profits? I've known you for years." "I'm not disagreeing," I add, "because it's true. I just want to hear what it is, and how we can do it better. You know my focus is long-term right now." I glance at Christine and she's smiling, listening. Richard says, "It's 72 here. I'm sitting outside." "Of course you are," I say. Meanwhile, we've got a snowstorm coming. He starts joking about me moving down there. Christine jumps in and they go back and forth, laughing about how she'd never leave, and how her husband would lose it if she tried. It's light for a minute, and I realize how rare that is. Just laughing. Then Richard gets to it. He says, "You know we have those rigs down in the Gulf? I've noticed the strange pattern." "Pattern," I repeat. "What are you talking about?" He explains how the rigs are grouped. 4 and 4. Close enough for operations. Close enough for transport. Then he says he wants to do an experiment. Building 2 massive solar arrays, it says, above one of the major side platforms. Like a jetty out. It would cost between 5 and 6 million on 2 different rigs. I'm listening now. Fully. He keeps going. Shade underneath for some of the tank boats. Panels getting direct sun. Converting it to electricity. I don't interrupt him. I let him talk. Christine pulls into the community and says, "We're here, Richard. I'm going to get out. You two need to talk." She leaves the car, and suddenly, I'm alone with the call and my own thoughts. Richard keeps going, talking about sunshine days, how many hours, how much power, how the living quarters already have smaller arrays, but this would be big enough to export electricity back. He says, "We could start being in the electric business." That phrase hits me weird, not because it's wrong, because it's big, and because my brain immediately thinks, what would that do for people? Not just numbers, not kilohertz, homes. I let him finish. Then I say quietly, I'm still here. I add, I don't want to ask about kilohertz. Homes. How many? Oh, he answers, rough estimate, between 900 and 1200 homes per array. So if we did two, around 2000. I sit there with that number. 2000 homes. Warmth, lights, life. Downside? I ask. Hurricane risk? Insurance? He says he thought about reinforcement, bolstering the arrays, anchoring them deep so they sway but don't break, adding protection to avoid boat traffic, using it as a real test. Richard admits the real cost is probably 12 to 15 million when you count personnel and time. Then I ask the only question that matters to me. What does your gut say? He pauses like he respects that I asked it that way. My gut says we have to do it, he says. If we don't, bigger players will notice and do it. We can get ahead. Maybe license it. Nobody's doing this. He starts talking about battery storage and bringing in solar experts. I cut in and say, not that crazy guy from last time. Richard laughs. I don't want to deal with him, I say. Bring me other names. People who actually know their stuff and don't make everything a circus. Give me a couple days, he says. I'll get my guys on it. I tell him I'll fly down later in the week. We can walk the platforms, maybe do that fishing trip we were joking about. He agrees. Then he laughs and says he's going to make some changes first and ask forgiveness later. I laugh too, because that's him. Because it's also not the worst way to be sometimes. Try something that might help. Fix it if it doesn't. We hang up. I stare at the windshield for a second. And the final thought slips in, quiet and unavoidable. If this works, we could give away a huge chunk of electricity. We could make a real difference. And even as that thought feels good for half a second, that missing feeling is still there. Not moved, not impressed, just waiting in the quiet like it always does.